What happens when you can't move? When it seems like everything is going against you and you're destined to fail? Well, not today. Because in this interview, we're going to look at how important those first 7 steps are. 7 steps to where? Well, to the bedroom door. Because when you walk through that door after today, you're going to be thinking different. You're going to be taking your world by storm. So let's welcome a great man to your screen, a man of integrity, a man who has overcome everything. He's an entrepreneur. He's making it happen against all odds. Here he is, Luke Murfitt.
Hi, guys.
How are you, sir? It is good to have you on.
James, it's fantastic to be here. You know, my journey really within my first year started with ActionCOACH. It's a privilege to be here now to talk and to hopefully share the love and to say thank you, really.
Well, look, we are really proud to be associated with you and working with you. And we do want to hear about your story, though. So what is the story behind Luke Murfitt?
The story is ongoing. I'm writing my story every day. To date, chapter year 5, I can say that I've achieved more in the last 5 years than I've achieved in the rest of my life. And it just so happened that 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. From that stage, I was sent to the job centre, having worked for a big bank, well pay, in the top 5% of the company in sales for 5 years, 6 years. Diagnosis meant that I, unfortunately, they felt that it would be too much for me. So there I was at the job centre, and I basically, you know, how to stand out in a crowd is wear a suit on a Monday morning at a job centre. I basically got there and I was not allowed in. They thought that I didn't belong to that queue. I was put in a box. And so after queuing for about half an hour, I got to the front of the queue. The security guard said, you need to go to the main entrance. So I didn't argue because I knew that would be a quicker way to where I wanted to be, which was to set up my own company. And so I laid it out to them. I said, I don't want to take benefits. I want to start a company. I said, I want to employ the people downstairs and I want the clients to be over there. And I looked out from the 3rd floor of Bromley, the job centre, and I looked over to Canary Wharf and I said, I want my company. It's going to be a cleaning company and we're going to clean those towers. And he looked at me and said to me, what does the sales manager know about, the former sales manager know about cleaning? Which my wife would probably agree. But I said, I laid out the vision. So I said, here's my vision, my logos, my ideas, and they liked it. So I said, okay. So I went on a different platform. I went on the enterprise sort of route. And sure enough, within 2 weeks of that meeting, I went out. I went via my daughter's school on the playground, waiting with all the parents. I spoke to 6 parents. I said, would you like to work for my company? No clients. I first had to make sure I had the staff. They said, great. And within 2 weeks, I got them each a job, 100 hours of cleaning a week, cleaning a hotel. That was the start. Then we went on to an airport, a museum, some other clients. And within 9 months, we were cleaning 7 towers in Canary Wharf.
There you go. That's a story of accomplishment and making it happen. Something you said right at the start there, by the way, really got me going. You know, the last 5 years have been the best 5 years or the most successful 5 years you had. And what happened 5 years ago? You were diagnosed with Parkinson's. And by the way, there'll be some people listening in that might have heard Parkinson's. They don't even know what it is. What is Parkinson's?
Parkinson's is often misunderstood. For starters, normally associated with old people, which is fair enough. But Parkinson's young onset is essentially where you have it when you're under the age of 50. I was diagnosed at age 35. I probably had it for quite a number of years before that without realizing. But it does sort of speed up. And essentially Parkinson's has many side effects. It starts, where is it now? It affects your sleep. It causes a lot of pain. When you're asleep, your muscles tense up and things. You wake up with a dry mouth, extremely dry, like leather. The teeth are stuck to your lips. You can't move. You can't express yourself. Your fingers are cold. Maybe your ear is bent or whatever because you don't move for the night. You become a dead weight sort of thing. When you wake up, it feels like you've been in a car crash. Everything aches and so on. And if you try and move, that's the pain. But that's also the motivation for me. So I go through that if you like, the unraveling from a caterpillar to a butterfly, it takes me about 15 minutes to get from my bed to my bedroom door. 7 steps, and sure enough, it's always a good day. And you know, I can honestly say that actually what should have held me back and slowed me down has sped me up and propelled me forwards.
Well, look, we're really interested to learn from that scenario as well. So 15 minutes to the bedroom door, hey, 7 steps and 15 minutes. How important are those steps in you going and making it happen?
Those steps have actually been my motivator. You know, people often say, oh, he's got Parkinson's, but look what he did. We'll talk about some of those soon. But the truth is that actually it's not despite, it's because of. I turned my weakness into strength. I decided I'm not going to let this put me into a box and go through all that to go downstairs and sit on the chair and feel sorry for myself, taking benefits. I use it as a motivator. I use it to not just motivate me, but people around me. And that's why in the last 5 years, I've helped over 200 mothers back into work, 37 fathers. We've got some serious big clients, some of the biggest developers in the UK. And we are one of the largest construction cleaning companies in London and South East. How did we do that? We did that obviously because I had the right systems and processes in place through ActionCOACH, which really gave me a great foundation and spurred me forwards through Tali Chopra, my coach. That's where it went. And, you know, sure enough, the acceleration, upward curves, year 2, we grew by 650%. Year 2, we also helped 39 mothers back into work that year. I remember going to the ActionCOACH conference over in Wales. And basically, I went there, not because I was going to, not to sort of for any awards. I went there because I wanted to see the award that I was going to win one day. I went there to try and learn, to envisage myself on the stage, because I wanted to be a keynote speaker then, which I am now. And I knew that one day I'd be on that stage. I also knew that I'd win awards. Before that, so I left there. I met Brad Sugars. We had a great conversation and so on. I carried on my journey, which happens every day. It was then, ironically, 19 months later that I got what would you say, sort of the job centre themselves put me forwards to the UK Business Awards in the category of UK Entrepreneur of the Year, because they were so impressed as, you know, one of the shining stars. So I went in for that. There was a big competition. There I was. I remember actually all the applications and things. And on the night before, I stayed in the hotel in London, Park Hotel, I think it was called. I remember staying there and went downstairs about 1 a.m. and I pictured myself on the stage winning that award. I still hadn't done the presentations the next day yet in front of the judges. Obviously, the applications had been done. But I pictured myself on the stage lifting that trophy. And I looked down at the tables and saw on the tables, and I saw my table in Antiquity Cleaning. There were 70 tables there. The table here was Virgin. This table was Manchester United, although they weren't very hard to beat. You know, and I thought, I can do this, and I will. So the next morning, as I say, I laid it out before the judges. 650% growth, 39 mothers back into work that year. Some of the clients, Galliard Homes, some other big clients. And, you know, and I said, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. And I wanted to use that as a platform to help me on to the next stage. And sure enough, and then when they announced the gold winner, you know, I stood on my chair, put my arms in the air, and I said, thank you, God, you know, and I just, it's a real celebration. And sure enough, you know, I won the award, which is really great. It's UK Entrepreneur of the Year.
There you go. So you were sat next to Manchester United and Virgin.
Yeah. And that you know, the awards for me didn't start on that day. I'd done a lot of prep work beforehand. So many things. I'd made sure that you don't know who the judges are or anything like that. It's all very sort of like very sort of secretive. So you don't sort of, you know, keep any corruption or anything. But I made sure that that everyone knew about me who's involved with the awards, so that my name and my videos would go out before me. You know, and I also knew that Manchester United and Virgin were going to be there. And I thought, well, if they're going to be there, they'll be put on the good tables. So when I requested my table, I said I want to be in between the two. And sure enough, I was centre stage, right in front of the stage, which was great.
Was that a tactical move? I want to be centre. I want to be between the two. Were you thinking that those two are going to be right at the front?
Yeah, well, I knew they're not going to put them at the back, not the big companies like that. I mean, they're big insurance companies and water boards and all sorts of people out there. But I thought if they're there, because they'd made the finals, to make the finals was fantastic. And I might just say, first ever cleaning company to ever make the finals, let alone win the thing.
So look, I mean, that all happens when you've opened the bedroom door. So they're pretty important steps for you. And does your mentality change every day when you walk out of the door? Does your mentality change?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because for me, I don't look and regret or think why me or whatever. To me, it's a new norm. It's a new normal. And people say I'm going to go to bed for a rest. I don't rest. To be honest, it's not a rest for me. It's an endurance. Bedtime is something I need. Sleep is essential, but it's not comfortable. Just turning is hard. Pulling your duvet over is like moving a concrete slab. It's nighttime is not fun, but it's also a motivator, and it's a great opportunity to basically remind me that I'm not sent to the universe, that I need help. That's why I have a faith, but also that I can use that weakness and turn it into strength. And I can assure you, when cleaners, operatives that work for me, they know what I go through, so it surely motivates them too. That if I can be there on time for work, so can they, and so can people around me. And it works with clients, it works with managers and things. We get paid on time because what we've done is integrity cleaning is not just a name; it's a mission statement. We clean with integrity, and we instill that. And I don't call them cleaners; we call them by their name. And I meet them, and I say, "You're not a cleaner. You're, Tracy or whatever your name is. My name's Luke," because we're all people, we're all equal. So they have great respect. And I really wanted to shake up the industry. I just wanted to shake up the industry because I knew that actually it's an industry of low margins, low profit. It's basically some of the worst of everything. There's 33,000 cleaning companies out there, which is huge competition. So I knew that I had to do something different. And I looked at it and I saw it as a bell curve, and I saw what makes a company. The first thing that normally happens with a cleaning company or a service company is the owner starts being the first employee. You don't own a company when you're working in the company; you have to work on the company. So what actually caused them to have great growth at the beginning ends up being the reason why they stop and they sort of end up not growing anymore. So initially, I've never cleaned for my company. I run the company. I have an MD as well, managing director, who works for me. I'm the CEO now, and it's always been the case that we've gone forwards like that. And yes, absolutely. My day starts with 7 steps because actually, I have to get from my bed to my bedroom door. It starts off hard. The first little step is I'm literally having to train myself to walk every morning, probably about 3 times a day actually, but certainly in the morning. And each step takes a lot of concentration. And I have to be positive. You have to think, right, what can I get out of this? Not what can't I do? And I walk out, and by the time I get to my bedroom door, I feel like I've won a national award every morning.
How hard are those steps? Because when you wake up, you literally cannot move.
No, frozen. You're frozen in time. But like I say, when something slows you down, it's also important to use it as a chance to reflect and think, how can I achieve what I want to achieve in the best way I can? There's no point going via Cornwall to go to Manchester if you live in London. And sometimes people can go all over the place. So it's important to set your goals and your targets and think, where am I going to go, and work your way backwards, as I'm sure you know, James. And so, you think, where am I going to be? And then you work your way backwards, and then it comes all the way back to that first step. And that first step has already been planned, as has the 7th step. 7th step is grab the bedroom door and open it. Yeah. And that first step is hard, of course. I mean, I literally have to almost fall forwards in faith that my right leg's going to then catch the step, because that starts me off in the motion.
I think there's a good mindset in this, to be fair. I think, what are my first 7 steps?
Yeah.
I'm like almost appreciating them and being grateful for them and thinking about them is really getting in my head about just really accelerating my performance. One thing, because we're going to talk about mental strength, we're going to talk about speed as well,
Okay.
Speed of growth, speed of lots of things. So I've got plenty of questions for you, but there's one thing that's just springing out above everything else, and I've got to mention it now. Do you remember that song, always look on the bright side of life. Remember that song? I want to sing
Absolutely.
it now.
Well, we'll have a go.
Yeah.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Ba-dum. Right. So that's one thing that you've got. Like, you've got the ultimate poker face, by the way, haven't you?
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm vicious at 6 a.m. You play me, you won't have a clue what I've got.
You're serious, like, whoa,
Yeah. And then through the day, I'm more like James Bond. I'm shaking but not stirred.
Shaken but not stirred. So, what about the lights? I know because before this, you showed me the lights. I want you to show everybody watching now the different lights. Let's have a pink, or let's
this
have
is not a fake background, by the way. I've heard that before. People said it's fake because, like, if I do this, put the light on, I've got like these things going on. But I thought, well, look, it's good to have a lounge that you like. So I wanted to. My house is called the Lighthouse, by the way. If you go to the front door, so I can do what I want to do. Here we go. We can go into film mode.
Beautiful.
Now sometimes you can do green forest, whatever.
Yeah, look, you choose it. We'll go with it.
It's actually quite bright because I've got the shutters open. If you close them, it's more effective. It's good for movies.
There's something else in the background that's just caught my eye. It's a guitar. Do you play the guitar? I mean,
I didn't used to, but you know what? I thought, well, what can I do that I like doing things that are different? Okay, I've played the drums for 25 years. I'm the only person in the UK with Parkinson's who plays the drums regularly, and I can play quite well. I get a great snare drum, by the way. Now I should be a Raw Moon, but anyway. Yeah. So and then I thought, it'd be great to play sort of the blues and just to sort of learn lead guitar. So I bought myself a guitar, and I'm learning. So there you go. And the story behind this one is that I went there. The guy had 30 guitars, okay, and he was an ex-pro. He was from in his own country back in Poland or somewhere, Romania. I can't remember which country. And I said, how come you're selling all your gear? And he said, because I've just been diagnosed with Parkinson's. I said, that's amazing. I said, the reason why I'm buying this guitar is because I've got Parkinson's. So there you go. He's giving up the guitar. I'm starting. That's my story behind that one.
Amazing. Told you. Always look on the bright side of life. Parkinson's, every reason to go get a guitar, hey? Well, look, I've got some questions for you on mental strength. I want to jump into this one first, actually. So it's that of dealing and coping with adversity, because we hear about resilience all the time. It's really, really important for us.
Yeah.
Just see if you can remember what's been the hardest day that you've had. It doesn't even have to be since you've been Parkinson's. It could be before that. What's the hardest day that you've ever had in your life, and how did you cope with that?
You see, now you're asking someone with Parkinson's. That means I've got a bad memory to remember something that I try not to remember because I'm positive.
Terrible. I'm really sorry for asking.
That's all right. I mean, so don't dwell on the negatives, but here we are.
It's been particularly daunting.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, every morning is a challenge, so it's like a day at a time.
Let's go to this morning, right? Let's go to this morning. Every morning's a challenge. You wake up, you're in effect, you can't move. It feels like a state of paralysis. How do you deal with that mentally right now?
My first thought is positivity, not negative. Don't think of the pain. And I'm thinking, right, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have an opportunity to be able to help other people and achieve the things that I set out for my life. So I'm grateful, but I'm literally frozen. You can't express anything on your face. So sometimes your alarm's going off and you can't even reach it to turn it off often. My mouth's really dry. So my first thought is, how do I reach for the water? Well, I can't reach for it because I obviously can't move. So I just have to break through and break free. And I envisage myself in the daytime, and I think to myself of all my clients I've got and my family and all the things that I can achieve. So I break through, and essentially I have to slowly unfold, lift up my arm out of my duvet, and sort of like hold it up like this. It's because we bent over normally. And then get at the other one, and still faces like this. Then you just unfold your fingers. And so I'm really grateful once my fingers are straight, because then, I'm so happy that I can do that. and then I work on my eyes because obviously my your cheek, so you just have to sort of massage a bit and just try and get it out. The sun shining through the shutters and things, it's all quite nice. And then I have to try and remove the duvet, which is a bit of a challenge. It's a huge barrier, so I do that, and then I have to try and lift up my head and essentially just get moving and eventually get my right leg off the bed. I have a high bed just to try and help me a little bit, and I get to the sitting point of my seat of the bed, and then I have to stand up, and that's a challenge also. And once I do, I put my hands in the air, A, to stretch, and B, to be grateful and just say, thank you, God, please use me today. It's a big thing, because I don't live for money. I don't work for money. It's a great thing. I enjoy it, like Monopoly. It's all good fun, but it doesn't make me. I don't love it. If I lose it, that's so move on to make some more money. But essentially, I work to try and help people achieve my goals and my purpose in life, which is to help other people, inspire them to do great things, and to be to be someone. So I think it's important to get things in order. And how many people can I help in life? And how can I turn my weakness into strength and help alleviate other people? So I use my pain to help other people relieve them from theirs.
Got it. Well, look, two things have really stood out in what you said there. One is routine. A routine that's going to get you in the right state for the day. And, you talked about like raising your hand and straightening your fingers and massaging your face.
That's right.
But then the second thing that just, when the light was shining through, there's an appreciation. I think and you even said it afterwards, gratitude. Yeah. I think those two things is how you do it. That routine and how important is gratitude?
It is essential. Without gratitude, gratitude, being thankful for what you have, who you have in your life, and things you've achieved and the things that can come and coming up ahead of you is so important, because then it turns to positivity, and you use that positivity to break free. As I do, I break free from my box. My bedroom is like a box for me. It's like a cage of something that would try and keep me inside. And if I gave in, then I'll just stay there. We're one of those people who ends up getting up at 11 or 12 in the day and it's all wasted and stuff like that. I don't. I get up at 6:30 if I can, 7 o'clock latest. I help take my children to school, to the bus stops, and I try and just live a normal life. But one thing I don't do is I don't walk to the mirror. I walk to the window once I'm through my door. I don't look back at my problems. I look out at the opportunities. So that's what I do.
Beautiful. Look at that. I mean, mirror. I don't look back at my problems. I look out to the opportunities that are out there for me. What a wonderful way to finish that bit there. Appreciation. Has your relationship with gratitude then, or your beliefs with gratitude, have they changed since you were diagnosed with Parkinson's?
I've been brought up in a family of a Christian family. So, of course, gratitude is very important to us. Just to be grateful for who you have, what you have, and to use what you have to help other people. So I've been used to a life of sort of helping. We used to have, remember the old days of tramps? They used to be out there. I don't know what you call them now, but anyway, we used to have a tramp where we lived in Westerham, and he used to come to our door.
You still call them tramps, I think.
Okay. Not a nasty way. It's just a homeless guy in the village, and so he used to come to our door. We used to make him jam sandwiches and stuff like that. So you learn to help people, and I ended up using that to be, seeing who we can help and what we can do. And then I ended up going to Kenya, working with street children, working there for 6 months, back end of school. Then I went to Kosovo when I was back about a week later after the war, went there to help widows and orphans. So I've just done some things to try and help other people where I can. And then here, obviously, you can help, as I do, many mothers and some fathers to help themselves to achieve the things in their lives that they want to, which is obviously a good, solid job, and one where they can earn well. We pay about 30 to 50% more than the going rate. I expect great things from them, of course, but they can then achieve their goals and their dreams and things as I've continued to build integrity cleaning, and now it's gone into keynote speaking as well. So keynote speak at big events, and to hopefully inspire as many people as I can, because businesses.
I heard that you were at Leicester Tigers. Is that right?
Leicester City Football Club. I was speaking at King Power Stadium last week on Friday. That's the Entrepreneurship Awards.
Okay.
Very big one, about 500 people there, business entrepreneurs. And I was asked to do the keynote speech there, which was a real great privilege. It was fantastic, and the feedback was immense. One thing that's interesting is they do about 4 awards a year, this sort of a event organization company. They never get standing ovations or anything like that, but I did. And that was a real sort of like, I'm not after that, but it's a real good way of sort of measuring that it went down so well. And the sort of people who came up to me afterwards were fantastic and sort of saying that they really want to help me and work with me and trying to see how we can collaborate and whatever else. So that was wonderful. My family went with me up to Leicester, so that was great. Leicester's actually one of my hometowns because my family were born there and things like that. Right. My parents and my grandparents and so on. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, let's move it on. Let's move it on to a separate topic then. And I want to talk about getting rid of negativity, actually. I know that you speak about this as well, the importance of it. Do you have negativity that you've got to get rid of as well?
Well, getting rid of negativity is a process. It's not an immediate decision. The process is that when you're positive, it repels negative people in a nice way, polite way, but they don't like being around positive people. So if you're positive,
negative people don't like being. It's so true, actually, isn't it?
Well, if someone comes up to you and says something negative about the weather or something, and they don't get the same response back, they're not going to ask you again, or at least it goes flat. And then
they just walk away. Well,
yeah, if someone says, "Oh, look at the rain," and I go, "Yeah, it's great. It helps with the plants." Just spin it around. I'm used to spinning things all the time if they're negative. I do it with clients all the time. They say, "Oh, can't afford that." Say, "Well, you can't afford not to do that." To be honest, so you just turn it around to what you can. I mean, so positive words, positive language. Get rid of the negative words. Don't ever use the word problem. Never say the word problem again after this podcast. It's such a negative word.
Let's go with some others then. I mean, what other negative words? What about the word no? Is that a negative?
It can be. Well, sometimes it's good to say no to things if they're wasting your time. In a sense, yeah. But no can be useful, but it shouldn't be used as a way to just strike something down. We're brought up often in our society with the word no. Mum, can I have these shoes? No. Can I get this? No, we can't afford it. It should be yes, but not right now. Let's see how we can afford it. What can we do to get there? Because we're brought up in a world where no is the answer, is the answer to so many things. So therefore, you then get to jobs and job interviews, and you get to clients and prospects, and you think, no, I can't. What I've learned is the biggest person, the main person who gets in your way from most of your sales is actually yourself. If you can overcome yourself.
What does that mean? Get out of my own way.
Sorry,
because I hear it all the time. I just need to get out of my own way. Then I'll win.
Yeah. Well, you need to tell yourself. Look, those people who look in the mirror and say yes, and those people who say no are usually right. Yes, I can, or no, I can't. They're normally right. So the first thing you have to do is say yes, I can. The client says, "Can you do this?" Yes, I can. Your manager says, "Can we do this?" Yes, we can. But then you need to work out why. So yes, why, how, let's do it. Whereas Richard Branson would say, "Screw it, let's do it."
Why, how, let's do it. Yeah. Yes, I can. Why do I want to do it? Yeah. How we're going to do it? Let's do it.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 steps to success. Is obviously the thought, the dream, if you like, and the second part is action.
Yeah, it reminds me of Napoleon Hill. Everything in this universe is created twice. Once in your imagination and second in reality.
Absolutely. And I envisaged great things. I envisaged winning that award. I envisaged winning these towers, cleaning forgotten homes. We've won many things since then, by the way. I mean, year 2, that was year 2, which was my first year of ActionCOACH. We often talk about financial year starting in April. For me, financial year always starts in January because that's when I started with Mitali Chopra. So I was measured from January to December.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So first year, and I said to Mitali, because I remember getting this book here, still got it, and we wrote down our hopes and dreams. Do you reckon there's this book here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And we wrote down what the plans are. I was looking through this before the interview today. At some of my dreams and hopes, and one of them was to clean the Shard. I set myself that as a goal because she said, "Come on, think big," and I did. And sure enough, within 6 weeks of having that dream, I won a contract at the Shard, biggest tallest tower in Europe. Year 2, after that, by the way, it was to help a certain amount of mothers that year back into work, because I can measure my company by how many mothers we help back into work. And also it was an amount of cleaning hours. Year 2 was to do the Heron Tower, which is the second largest building in Europe, and also Amazon. And sure enough, we ended up doing a Netflix site. I got the Heron Tower. We did several Amazon distribution centers, Tesco's, and it goes on like that. So, you really can, if you imagine things, because, if you don't have a target to aim for, if you aim at nothing, you normally hit it. You know what I mean? That's how we go.
Yeah, it does strike me. You're a man with great conviction, actually. Well, maybe integrity is the right word. You've even named your business after that value.
Yeah, you have to walk in faith. A lot of the time, every step is a step of faith. I'm going to step into that building. I can't see the job. I haven't got the job, but I'm going to walk in there hoping I'm going to get it. The biggest thing that often happens, I did cold calling for many years. And that really helped me, because I learned the fear that is normally there with any salesperson is the distance from the door to the counter where the owner of the business is. And so you have to overcome that, because that's what stops people walking in and think, oh, I can't do that. They're going to say no. And so the way that you do it is you don't focus on that journey from the door to the counter. You focus on the counter. You just look at the counter, you walk straight in, open the door, straight to the counter, start speaking. You don't start thinking about all the things that you can, And I did the same with the Shard, and I walked in there and got the business. I mean, if you go for what I go for every morning, which is a bit of a challenge, you'll find actually winning the job at the Shard is actually quite easy. I remember with Gallard Homes, when we won 7 towers, that's 100. There's 1,000 apartments, each worth £1.3 million each. It was a £500 million project. It was currently the biggest one in Southeast. And, I had no construction cleaning experience at all. We'd never cleaned anything. Nothing. And I was up against some of the biggest construction cleaning companies in the UK. But I had a difference, and that was obviously the challenges I'd been for that morning. And I only won that, and I only saw it because I looked up.
What was your difference? What was the difference for you?
Well, I've got the advantage of having Parkinson's.
Well, why is that an advantage?
Because it's a challenge that I have to overcome. It's not given to me on a plate. So therefore, I have to come through that, turn my negative into positive, and use that positivity to keep walking. When I stop walking, I literally freeze. Sometimes I can't move my neck, can't move my body and things. But trust me, if I keep walking, or even if I run, I'm quite good at running, I don't stop. So we talk about running a business, we'll keep running.
You keep running. Well, momentum builds, hey?
It does. And that's why I came to ActionCOACH. I used to work for a stationery company called Lyrico, and sure enough, I became stationery. So, and now then I went to ActionCOACH and I saw action. You got to take action. And I'd advise anybody to join up with ActionCOACH, of course, because you get great results. And especially when you've got someone like Mitali Chopra, who's been fantastic for me and the people around her too. The other thing is that you can do as an entrepreneur, if you want to be an entrepreneur, not just an employee, glorified employee of your company, is to surround yourself with positive people and great people often better than yourself in different areas. Not be afraid of them, but actually attract them. And that's what I've done. I've done my best trying to attract great people out to the hub, to great people around me, to realize my dreams, my hopes, my desires, and my challenges. And all those people help me towards the goals that I have. And that's so important. Surround yourself with great people.
Yeah, well, you already said earlier on, actually, even the negative people, what you do is you be positive with them, and it just naturally repels them. I've never heard someone actually say that before. So that's pretty cool. There's one thing that's springing to mind when you were saying what you were saying there. That analogy. Why does a car have brakes? Simple. Car's got brakes to allow the car to go faster. Because you can go faster when you know that you do have brakes. So
that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of my goals in this book here is to get myself a nice car. I've got a Jaguar outside, a nice red Jaguar, and it's got big brakes. And I noticed when I borrowed someone else's car, I thought this car's not very good at braking, but it turns out my Jaguar's got extra big brakes. And then I was able to do it's 65 seconds, which I'm pleased with.
Yeah, all right. Well, you're telling everybody now that you're like, I told you guys, it's much
That's
more
the British.
Poker face. There's a poker face going on.
Yeah.
All right, let's move it on. How does someone develop belief? So part of being mentally strong is having strong beliefs. Yeah. How do you do that? How did you do that?
Okay, so again, surround yourself with positive people. I've got great parents who, So I pick up good things from them and the people that surround us as family and things. I've got a great wife who's who's my rock. My children, a great coach, Mitali. So she adds to that. And I think it's these people can add belief from different angles. But what I do in my life is I try and create pillars. I add pillars in my life because when you look at a structure imagine like a Roman sort of structure with all these columns, pillars. The thing that holds that up is actually those big pillars, big chunky pillars. And so what I did in my life is I've tried to create as many pillars as I can. Those pillars hold my temple up, if you like, my being. And those pillars can be things like your family, maybe your wife, your faith. It can be your job. It can be various things that you do day to day. It can be things in the past. It can be how you brought up and so on. Lots and lots of pillars. So when something like your health gets knocked, I'm okay. It's fine. I've still got loads of pillars holding me up and I can keep going forwards. And sure enough, that gives you time to rebuild that pillar that's been bashed down. That could be your finances, could be your relationship, whatever it is. So it's important to have many pillars, not just have one or two pillars. And so that really does help me to have faith because I have faith in the other pillars that I've created.
Yeah, look, I mean, you mentioned people there and different pillars, and you've mentioned it again, that whole having faith in. Do you ever see people or people that work for you that you've been around that haven't got faith?
They don't normally start with us if they don't. But
have you ever at any point in your life where you lost faith?
Faith in
what you're doing, where you're going.
See, I am so high that even if I drop my faith a bit, it's still higher than average. So,
okay.
You know what I mean? Look, try and keep it sort of so we're not too actual examples. Many people in the cleaning industry, for example, they look across at the shops over the road in the high street and they walk straight into that estate agent and they try and get business. I've never been into one estate agent. I don't, no offense, but one little office. I look at these 41-story buildings looking up. So I look up, I aim big, and sure enough, if you get something that's 12 stories, well, okay, I'll take that. But and so that's how you get the big contracts and you get the big stuff. That's why you aim for big keynote speaking opportunities. And that's how I ended up on Amazon Prime, and it goes on because I think that actually you can achieve great things. So my faith is, yes, it can take a bit of dip. Sometimes you have negative days. Get my suit on. It's not easy. You'll see me all average now. To get where I am right now, I feel good, look good. But that was a challenge, and I actually feel proud that I'm wearing it and I'm doing it for you guys. And so, why are you doing it? Don't just get into a rhythm of doing nothing for no reason. Have reasons why you're doing things. Go through it. And if someone appreciates it, as I try to with other people, appreciate what they do, say well done and makes them feel good. And if they don't, fine. But have your self-belief as well. Another thing I learned with ActionCOACH is don't be afraid to blow your own trumpet, because if you can't, then who else will? Be proud of what you can do. I mean, I was speaking to Brad Sugars at the event that time, and I said to him, "You're Australian. Why don't you live in the UK or how come you live in America?" And he said, "The difference is because in America people celebrate success, and I can do that there." And I said, "Right, that's interesting." Now, it doesn't mean that we can't celebrate success, but the general culture is you have to hide what you have. Celebrate. Don't show off. Don't be arrogant, but also be proud of what you've done. It's not about actually what you've got.
It's really important, isn't it? Imagine, you come home on a Friday night with a bottle of champagne and the family's around and the kids are looking up, "Daddy, what's going on?" Very good week.
Well, let me give you a story about that. I remember when I actually won a sales award when I was on WorldPay. Was it WorldPay? Let me think. It's the back end, so it was just before. So I'd won Employer of the Month or something, and I'd won a champagne bottle, okay, and a trophy. The trophy was in my bag. I had to get from London back into the day, back onto the tube and to train and back home. And so you imagine I'm walking along with one foot slightly dragging, holding this bottle of wine, and everyone's looking at me all dressed up as some sort of city yuppie sort of thing, thinking that guy's obviously got some drinking problem. They didn't realize, and I was like, "No, you don't understand. I won this thing," And it looked like I was actually. The perception was he's holding a bottle, he's not holding himself well, he's drunk, and he's got issues. But actually, it was a sign of success. So I love it when people celebrate my success, but if they don't, I know my self-belief is very high. I know who I am, and I know where I'm going, and I try and aim for that every day. and work to the best I can. Encourage other people too.
I love what you said earlier on. Are you ready? If you look in the mirror, you can see weakness. If you look out the window, you can see possibilities and opportunities. Then you say, yeah, possibilities and opportunity. Then you said, look up to the sky and dream big, think big about the 41 floors. And then another thing you said is when you're doing the cold calling, as you put it, walk through the door, see the desk, and go.
Yeah, because the fear. Look, you don't have to have Parkinson's for your body to freeze and for you to not walk in. There's plenty of people out there now acting like they've got Parkinson's and they can't walk because they're fearful of walking that distance from the door to the thing. So let's try and think, how can I do it? And it takes focus, it takes determination. You're thinking, I want to talk to that guy, asking the question, do you want whatever I've got? You know, and assume they're going to say yes. Don't wait for the no. If you get a no, I've learned in life, a yes is a yes, a no is a maybe. Remember that one.
A yes is a yes, a no is a maybe. You know, the importance of walking through the door and go to the desk. Just literally, that's your mentality. There's a conviction there. I think there's a lot of people picking up something on sales here because there's a mindset. I love it. You walk in, go.
Yeah, and while they're and ahhing, because I used to sell card machines for WorldPay, chip and pin terminals, and while they're saying, I'd say, so how many do you want? And I said, what do you know? I only got one counter. I said, yeah, but don't you do deliveries? And they say, no. Well, how do you take deliveries? And they say, well, we take the thing over the phone. So you pay a high rate to take the rate over the phone. I'll give you 2 terminals. Okay, so I end up walking out with a double sell, a mobile terminal and a fixed terminal. And I'll say, what about that till over there? And say, we'll use the same one. So I say, do you notice how many people walk past the shop if there's a queue? Let's get you 2 terminals. Get you 2 terminals so that you can, reduce that queue. People walk in. Plus, I give you a mobile terminal. I get 3 sales from the same client.
It's just like looking out the window, isn't it? Look around on the deck. Oh, you got another till over there.
Yeah. And while it's in there, signing them up, and I'll say, how many do you want? I wouldn't wait for them to say yes or no. I used to make my client's decision for them. I'd say, you're going to have this. I would sort it out. Just keep moving, keep going. Stop waiting for the negative. Stop waiting for the, control the conversation, control the sale. So we're going to sales here, but it really worked. And that's how I used to get.
I think we've had some great lessons there in actually decision-making, strong belief, and actually speed. Because, let's just mention speed for a second, because you're supposed to be quite slow, yeah? And this is not, I'm not trying to offend you with that. So physically, you are slow. Mentally, have you ever been faster than where you are right now?
Mentally, I'm there before anyone else. I'm waiting for people to catch up. And then I found that, when you take action, your why becomes bigger than your why not. And I find that what got you here won't get you there. So you need to use the past, but also realize that you need to keep moving forwards. And accept the fact that you need to keep reinventing yourself and you have to keep moving forwards. So action is important, and moving forwards is key. What I've found also is with Parkinson's, sometimes you trip up, okay, you're not steady and so on. But I find that when you do fall, you actually find yourself, when you stand up, you're normally one step forwards. When you get up, you're one step closer than you were when you're standing still, you know what I mean? So you actually fall forwards. So it's a negative of falling, but it's a positive that you're actually further forwards than you were, and you can learn from it.
When you take action, you get rid of the why nots. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, your why becomes bigger than your why not. Because I found your dreams only end when your dreams only end when you give up. Don't give up.
When you take action, your why becomes bigger than your why not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what did you say about the dreams and giving up? Repeat that.
Your dreams only end when you give up. Now, I dream. You see, one of my secrets is, I dream big every night. I dream big, and then it's important. So I dream big, then I wake up, and every day I chase them.
Can we go on that for a second? Because this is very common. We dream big.
Yeah.
And realize we're not going to get there. So Start dreaming lower and lower and
That's
lower.
right.
Now, every time one of them, you saying that's giving up. That's what you're saying, yeah? Every
Yeah.
time you step it down, you dream, you're giving up on your dream.
Yeah. Don't give
That's
up.
that's a harsh reality. That is a really harsh reality of what something is really common.
But what happens in business is you'll get people saying that you can't do it, or you'll go near people that are going to tell you, "Oh, don't worry, it's a hard one anyway." Don't go near those people; they'll put you down. You need to go near
I'll
people that
just
say,
say something positive back to them.
"Yeah." I mean, honestly, I've had a conversation even this morning with someone. I won't say who, but they said, "Don't worry about that. The same for this. It's just do the smaller clients." I'm thinking, look, okay, fine, we'll do the small ones for cash flow, but we need the big ones to make us keep growing. My aim in my business is to keep growing. If I don't grow more than 100% every year, I've done something wrong. See, what I learned is people often say to me, Luke, you've grown your business 100% every year pretty much. How do you do it? The answer is you don't do 2 or 3 things and that grows to 100%. You get 100 things, increase them by 1%, you've got 100%. Those things can be like, how quick are you to answer the phone? Increase it, improve it by 1%. How efficient are you answering your emails? Improve it by 1%. How distracted you get by your Facebook notifications? Turn them off, by the way. But improve it by 1%. Okay, if your notifications are on from Facebook or any LinkedIn or anything, turn them off. Maybe keep LinkedIn's on, especially if you're getting in contact with me. But other than, yeah, but it's true though. What time do you get out of bed? Okay, increase it by 1%. What's 1% of the day? I don't know what it is, but maybe get up 10 minutes earlier. Those 10 minutes are great to really get yourself into the right mood. Get to your client 1% quicker. Do 100 things, you'll grow 100%. If you don't, come back to me next year.
I was once interviewing Brad Sugar. I did an interview on Brad Sugar, and he developed the biggest worldwide, global, if you like, coaching organization. 30 years. That's 3 decades. And I said to him, if you could do it again, what would you do different? And he said this: I go faster. I do it faster. And we're talking about speed here. And I captured, we captured something that you said to us behind the scenes. So you didn't know we were going to put this on screen, but we are going to put this on screen.
Okay.
It will definitely play on the heartstrings. Let me read it out for you. There's a clock on the wall that's ticking, but mine's ticking a bit faster.
Yeah.
That's one of yours then. So
I was told by the neurologist, a professor in neurology, he said, look, you've got 10 years left of movement. Therefore, I've got 10 years of opportunities. And trust me, one of the biggest medicines I've found is not my tablets, it's business.
And you know what? Hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it, for most of the world? But you look at the next 10 years in anyone's business that's watching this. 10 years from now is things are going to change. 5 years from now, things are going to change in your world. So you start moving. Take them 7 steps in the morning. Is there any final words that you want to say to people before we wrap up?
Well, I mean, it's important. Everyone's looking for results and they're looking for, to get somewhere. And I think it's important that people remember they need to take ownership for things. Take ownership. I'll remind people of that. Accountability and responsibility. Don't look for excuses. You need to bury those, file them under B for bin. Those things are like blame, excuses, and all those denials and things like that. So see how you can move forwards to get results. You need to take ownership of what you have, accountability and responsibility, and make sure your team are going with you. Team is the best thing because that's together everyone achieves more.
Yeah, and look, one thing I've taken from today is actually to look on the bright side of life. Look in the mirror. You might see a little bit of weakness. You might have some of those self-doubts that come in. Look out of the window and see all the opportunities. See the world ready for you.
Yeah.
I also want to consider my own 7 steps. My first 7 steps. You're making me sort of consider that for a second. I'm sure everybody who's watching is doing exactly the same. What's been your favorite part of today's discussion?
My favorite part of this morning?
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy when I got my socks on. I was seriously happy because it's a challenge. And I was thankful I got them on quite quickly, which then gave me freed up a bit more time that I can get on to the next thing. I was also happy I got my belt, my trousers, they're already there. It saved me 5 minutes. I was happy that my toothpaste was round, so I could grab it straight away without fiddling with it. I was happy that so far today I've not deleted any text messages by accident because it's sometimes hard to write texts. So those things I'm really grateful for and happy for. I'm grateful for the sun and the birds that are singing outside, and the sun shining through. That's really great. So those things all light everyone up. Then obviously coming to you, which is great stuff, and speaking to the people on Action Coach and maybe beyond. I hope that people can get something from it and really look at themselves. Be grateful for the small things, and when the big things come, you're over the moon. And hopefully, as you rise, you can help take other people with you.
Well, on behalf of everybody here, Action Coach, thank you very much, Luke Murphy. You have taught lots of people lots of great things, and they're going to enjoy putting those into action and increasing the why and decreasing the why nots whilst they're there. Thank you very much. See you next week, folks. Bye for now.